recently been having all these intense dreams around old relationships and final words which were never said. And I began to wonder, like, what's the explanation behind why this might be happening? And I saw in my astrology that there was a lunar cycle, a progressed lunar cycle, which just closed after 28 years. I'm not going to go into the weeds of astrology, but as I began thinking about it, anything having to do with the moon or anything lunar has to do with old memories, things from the past, the subconscious mind, so it would be expressed through dreaming. And I began to realize that maybe as this lunar cycle was completing, it was sort of processing the remnant or leftover dream or emotional contents of these old relationships. And it's the weirdest thing, because when I had these dreams and I was saying these final words or expressing things I never did in those friendships or relationships or whatever, it felt so real, as if when I said it, it kind of was being expressed out into the ether, and like the communication was happening, or somehow the communication that I was saying in these dreams was indeed received. And it kind of also reminds me, also a lunar subject, when my grandmother died. She came to me and after she died in dreams many times. She was kind of discussing what about this and that with people in the family, and we were having this kind of back and forth. We were having this back and forth in my dream state. So I feel like I take my dream state seriously, because I feel like sometimes something really is happening even though it's a dream. Because eventually, after this back and forth happened and we're exchanging ideas after she passed, she eventually said she was kind of back to her 40, she's kind of back to her 45-year-old self or so. And she was in a park with a gazebo and there's a path behind her, and she said, okay, that's it, I'm ready to go on. So I'm thinking about this, and I feel like something having to do with dreams and last words and communications and emotions, I feel like for me, that has had a lot of meaning. And it seems to have a suggestion that the meaning and the communication isn't just this pure illusion. It feels like it does border on an altered state, and maybe a truer state, picking up phenomenon and ideas that aren't really as easily available to me in waking life. So it's just interesting thinking about all this, like why is this happening, how it relates to cycles. Just some thoughts for today.